Good morning. Good morning. You're welcome. It's another edition of Morning Dew, and it's my pleasure to be here. The topic for today is what we have in common. What we have in common. As followers of God, as followers of our Father, there is that which we have in common. Let me say clearly here, our doctrines will definitely differ. Even if we think we have the same doctrine, at some point we have differences in what we believe about different things, as we follow God. So that is not what we all have in common. Definitely the way people in Celestial Church will worship will differ from how people who are in the Catholic Church will worship. Oftentimes one is not necessarily better than the other, but the thing is, amongst it all, there are definitely things that are important and that are very they are key, and that we must have in common. These are things that like it or not, if I see it in anybody, wherever it is the person worships, I should be able to know that this is of the Father. This person is of the Father. And no matter how big the person is, and no matter how correct the person's doctrine is, if I see some certain things also, I should query this person's relationship with the Father. Now, one of it is the purpose for which we do all that we do. The purpose for which we do all that we do. No matter how good that which you do is, the purpose for which you are doing it must be God and God alone. The purpose for doing what you are doing must be God and God alone. His glory and His kingdom, that His glory and kingdom may come, and that His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It is not results, so it is not he who has the most results. It's not he who has the most anything, no, but that God and God alone is the reason why we do what we do. That is number one thing. And very similar to that, almost the same thing, is the heart intent. What is the heart intent? What is behind what you say? Okay, you're saying these things and they are accurate. You're saying these things and yes, this is the sound doctrine of God. What is behind that heart that is doing it? Is it God, the love of God, the love of mankind? Is it God and God alone? Or is it for fame? Is it for, whatever it is? What is the heart intent? What is behind, what is your motive for doing what you're doing? It mustn't be greed, it mustn't be greed. And at the same time also, not just greed, even genuine profit making. It shouldn't be profit making. You don't get it. When God calls you to do something, there will be profit making. There will be, fame. You can get fame along. All those things can come along. But none of it should be the reason that you do what you do. This is something we must all have in common. This is something that marks you and marks me as being for Him. It must not be. Then one thing we should also have in common, I know I have shared, stuff about working with God and all that. Watching and listening out for Him, for the voice of God, for the will of God, for Him, for His glory, for watching and listening for what He wants to say, what He is saying with something, what He is doing, watching for Him. The expectation of the righteous shall not be cut off. There must be expectation, genuine expectation of God. And I must say this, until you know how to look out and look unto God for something that only Him can give, then you have not even still gotten it right. Now, that's not to say that Okay, those who follow him, they are, I mean, except this is what we have in common. And if you don't have this in the bag, if you don't, you know, if you are still watching out for, yeah, let me get it right. No, I'm not saying that every one of those things mean that you are not for him. You know, it only means that you have not gotten it right. You have not gotten it right. And except you do, for instance, you may be looking up to someone. You know, this is one of the things we must know and have at the back of our mind very well, that this one is one of those things that also we must all come to, because even I fail in this a lot of times, is the fact that until you begin to look to him for that which only him can give, you are still missing it. The power that only him can give, influence that only comes from him, position that only him can give, until you begin to look to God for that which only him can give, direction for only him can give. This we should have in common. But let me, as I said, you know, this one on this matter, I will just say we should have, because many of us are still learning that which only him can give. You come to God and all that you're asking is for money. It's not only him that can give money. See, all he needs to give you is the power to get wealth. It's God that gives that. The power to get wealth is God that gives that. But you need a car, you need shoes, you are talking to him. Yes, fantastic. You know, I mean, that's a level of relationship that you're talking to him about everything. But like, you must come to the point where that which, you know, you are pursuing and seeking for from God is that which only him can give. And then there will be something else that God also is expecting from everyone who, you know, is after him. What we should have in common, let me not say what we have in common, because many of us have not attained this, is not looking at anyone as the source or the provider for you. Oh, children will look at their parents, but even children who know God, they know that it is God that makes that which comes through their parents to them. It is God that gives it. So some children also learn even to talk to God about needs that their parents are going to give. You know, to talk to God, being their only source for everything they need. They talk to God, even though their parents have the capacity, because they know that He's the one that gives that capacity. So when you have learned to look away from your employer, look away from your boss, look away from the richest person in your family, look away from the most influential person in your family who can do this or that for you or get this or that for you, then you have come to that point that, look, this is where God expects us all to be. Looking to Him, you know, as the ultimate source of everything that we need. And also knowing that it is when we are seeking Him for that which only Him can give, that we even please Him the most. You know, He can give power, and only Him has that power to give. Power, the real raw power that can do anything on earth. See, when He gives that power to a man, every other thing just falls in place. People will bring all the millions and billions just because they can see a sign from, you know, from heaven that, yes, God is here. God is with this person. Even though God is everywhere, but they know that God is with this person. They are ready to give Him everything. They are ready to open their doors, open everything to Him. You know, so that is one of them. They're on that thing, you know. In fact, it's like every other thing I have said is one side. That is love the Lord your God with all your heart. There's this other part, which is love your neighbor as yourself. One thing we should all have in common as followers of God is heart for people. Heart for people. Loving people because that is the will of God. Not because of pity. Loving people because this is the will of God. If you don't love people, you waste, you understand? You waste time and resources that God is giving to you. Now, because you cannot say you love God, you don't see. Because you can only do that with mouth, with heart, with everything, you know. And then don't love the people you see. So God has said it, the way you show that you love God, who you can't see, is also by, showing that love to people who you see. You believe that God is the merciful God and you love that aspect about him, then you will be a merciful person to other people. You believe that God is kind, God is gracious, God is this and that, then you will be kind and gracious to others, because you know that this is who God is. This is what you love about God. This is how God is to you, and you love that about him. Then you will have a heart for people. So these are the basic things, some of the basic things that we should share in common. It's not that we must look alike. I definitely don't look like a lot of Christians. It's not because we cover the hair the same way, we tie our hair, we don't wear earrings. Those are a set of people, so they believe that they are the ones that know God the same way on one side. And there are those who don't wear like I don't cover my hair, and then I wear earrings and I make up, and then we think that those other ones are ignorant, and that it is us who knows God and who are, understand. So because we don't have how we dress in common, we think that we have it above them. No, you don't. Or because your church speaks in tongues, this don't. They are more like they want to test only what they know, and like that, and they don't want anything they cannot understand or explain. You think you're better than them because of this. That is not one of those things that we must have in common. We have Christ in common. We have the Father in common. We have, love in common. And this is what covers a multitude of sins. This is what covers a lot of things that you will see from the other person, and you know that it is not perfect, yet that you accept the person all the same. This, I believe, is what God will have me to say to you. Go forth and judge not. And when you're going to judge, let it be based on the fact that no, love is what must govern this. And if love is not governing it, you can say no, it is not right, about this situation or about this person. But definitely, not be arguing about stuff that we will always differ on. We can't always have the same viewpoint about. So thank you very much for being there today, and hope to see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. hopefully. I come here every day. Thank you very much. Bye. Love you.